think it's starting to kick on. I'm just gonna skip the intro today. I'm only gonna work till 10. I'm getting a little burned out. It's been kind of a long day, so I'm gonna try to get as many done as I can before 10. Oh, maybe I should switch over to my other. There we go. So you guys can see what I'm doing here. Turn my phone off. All right, we'll just start where I left off this morning. Here's my presets, and I'm just gonna start editing, and I thought I'd take you guys with me. And that way, if you guys have any questions, if you want to learn a little bit about editing or my workflow, my process, you guys can just kind of watch. I wasn't really thinking about going live today just because it's been just a long day. And I was just going to get in here and edit a few. Whoops. Before it gets too late. So yeah, it's been raining for like the last 2 weeks. Like it'd skip a day, it'd be like every other day. It would rain and then it'd be a nice day and then rain and nice weather and then it'd rain again. And I needed desperately to mow my lawn. And I started yesterday, even though it had already sprinkled a little bit. But went ahead and finished it today. And also weeded the garden because that also desperately needed to be done. I have this weird feeling like I'm not actually live. is there anybody on? It says connected. Everything's connected. It's Tuesday. That might be why everybody's burned out, and my software doesn't seem to be working right. I feel like I've clicked that like 4 times. Is it gonna switch over? There we go. All right. So I'm just gonna remove a few things here. This stick over here was kind of annoying. It's just weird because the chat is waiting for new messages. I wonder, maybe I need to like maybe I need to refresh my comment section. It might not be working. I just got on and just hit the button to go live. So maybe things need to be refreshed. Everybody's kind of tired except for Vada. She didn't want to go to sleep. That's why I'm just now getting on. It's 10. It's 9, 9, 10, 9, 11. Just now getting out here. Whew. Makes for a long day. I have a feeling like Facebook forgot to notify everybody that I'm live. If I don't get anybody on here soon, I might just kick off. Okay, so hi Natasha. I see you get a comment, but it shows that there's nobody on. So talk about this session? I talked about this session, I think, last time. So we this session was a lot of fun. I always enjoy doing something that's a little bit different than what I normally do, which is taking pictures of animals. So primarily this session was taking pictures of animals. I guess I was taking pictures of the dog and horses and a pig and a pony. Let's see. I want to make sure. Oh, undo that. So I was weed eating the garden. I got, I think I got some stuff in my eyes, like burning now. Okay, so his skin tone is a little bit, a little on the red side. It was the same with the other image, so I just desaturated the skin tones a little bit. What equipment? What equipment did I use? I used my Sony A7 Mark III and my my Sigma 135 millimeter 1.8 lens. But I also brought my 50 millimeter 1.4 lens, and I'm glad I did because there was a point where we were in a very small field and it was tight, and it was too tight for my 135, so I pulled out the 50 and it worked. How far was I from my subject? Exactly 35 feet and 8 inches. 35 feet and 8 inches. From which subject? The dog or the owner? Because the dog is actually like 2 inches past the owner. So make sure you jot that down. Have that in your notes. Because it's important. Okay, yes, he's green. I'm aware of that because I know you're going to ask. I'm just trying to isolate just the color of his skin. Separate it from the background. Whoops. Well, more or less just isolate that red color. I'm going to invert that and just paint it on. Yes, it was super bright. I don't know what's wrong with my my thing is showing that there's nobody on whatsoever. And if that's the case, I may just kick off because apparently ain't nobody on tonight. Isaac's on. Okay, so people are on. It's just that my software is not showing me that people are on, which is kind of irritating. Hi, Isaac. All right, let's get into editing this thing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do some dodge and burn with my auto dodge and burn. You're on? Yeah, I guess some people are on. It's not showing me that anybody's on. I should have maybe I should turn it off. I tried refreshing it. What advice would I give to someone who is starting photography? Just shoot. Get some experience. Go out and start shooting. Depends on what you're doing. Someone who is starting in photography. Well, you got to be more specific. I mean, I've got a lot of advice to give, but I need to know, like, at which point, at what point are you coming from there? So I'm going to make my subject stand out just a little bit more by doing some dodging and burning here. I'm just going to do this kind of auto dodge and burn over Molly and over his shirt and his clothes, just to make it kind of step out a little bit more. But I think I'm also going to use my my manual dodge and burn because I'm going to try something here. I can do some manual dodge and burn here. Just exaggerating the highlights. Beginner. But how much of a beginner? Like, do you have a camera yet? Do I need to tell you what kind of camera to get? So, you already know the answer to that. I know you do. You tell me the answer. You know, I want to see if you remember. Uh, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Natasha. Okay, I am going to brighten his face a little bit because it's a little in the shadows there. I'm gonna use my hairbrush on Molly's hair. I'm lagging. It's because everybody in the world is on the internet right now. They're all watching Tiger King probably. Hey Seth, how you doing? Are you still doing electric work? Are you still electrician? Now I'm wondering how many people are actually on because it still says 0, but people are commenting. All right, so what the hairbrush does is it just it gives me errors from time to time. It just basically smooths out the highlights and the shadows as well as adds an oil paint filter, which is way overdone right now. So I'm going to drop the opacity to like 50%. Yes, Canon, Sony, Nikon. But what? Okay, so you know what brand? Do you remember what it was important about the camera that you get? Do you remember what the important part about that was? Oh, I'm gonna have to combine all this. I'm gonna clean his shirt up a little bit. I almost need to like switch monitors. Actually, what I need to do is I need to hook up. I need to figure out how to hook up like one of my cameras instead of using the webcam on my Mac, my iMac, because I've got the audio. I've got nice audio now. I just need a good picture. You bet what's nice most of the time? Being in quarantine? She she stays at home and takes care of the kids. She was always quarantined. Yes, full frame. No, actually no, not full frame. Not starting out. How much money do you have? Didn't you take my class? Oh boy. You can't hear me? Isaac, you can't hear me? I see my levels, they're jumping around. Can you guys hear me? Great, now I'm paranoid. I know Natasha can hear me. Yes. Likely a crop sensor, but that's not what I was getting at. What is important about the particular camera, the particular crop sensor camera that you'll likely be getting? If you're a beginner photographer, you're a starving artist, you have no money, you have a little bit of money, what camera are you gonna get? Yeah, Canon, Nikon, Sony. Did you have your phone muted? But what is the important thing that you're looking for in that camera? What's the most important thing? Yes, for those of you who are watching, this is trivia with my wife. that's that's your camera because she started it. She started. Did you just have it turned way down low? There we go. Got through one. I'll show you guys. Here's my before. Here's my after. Kind of clammed through that, but we got it. curious to see how this one's going to turn out. Yeah, I like this one. Ooh. Do I agree with that? I think I actually do agree with that. Isaac, go. Oh, well, I don't know. That's you. Would Canon just announced their new camera today, I think. The Canon M5, I think, or is it R5? Maybe it's R5. It shoots in 8K uncropped, up to 30 frames per second or 29 frames per second, and you can shoot 4K up to 120 frames per second, and it's gonna. We don't know what the price is yet, though. That's the thing. This is a bit of a tight crop. I wasn't far enough away in this image. I wouldn't typically cut off his knee like that, or the dog over here. Let's see if I can. Let me reset this. I think I'm gonna try something different here. But yeah, Canon. Yes, mirrorless, crop sensor camera. What else? I'll give you a hint. It has to do with the lens. Oh, you're like a Canon, like boom, boom Canon. Okay. Forgot who I was talking to here. So this image is tilted slightly, but we're gonna leave it that way because I don't want to cut off his knee. That's a big no-no. I was talking about composition the other day, and that was one of the things. You don't want to cut somebody's limbs off specifically at a joint. Yes. Here's my Canon. There you go. You got it. You get an interchangeable lens camera. That's what's important when you're first starting out. You don't need to get a big, expensive, full frame camera. Although it would be nice, you don't have that kind of money starting out. So you want to get an interchangeable lens camera because it's not the camera as much as it is the lens that you put on the camera. The camera's only as good as the lens you put on it. So you could get here. Here's a Canon T1i, Rebel T1i. You can get this camera for less than $200 used. Obviously, it's ancient. It's a dinosaur camera, but you can get that and put a really nice lens on it. A nice vintage lens because they're cheaper starting out. Because if you're starting out, you don't have a whole lot of money. You can still get really great professional looking images with a camera like this and a cheap vintage lens. There you go. When I started out, I had a crop sensor Samsung NX500 that Natasha got me, and I bought a vintage. It was a Pentax 50mm 1.7 lens for like $35. Thank you, Isaac. Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, just use my full frame. There you go. Is there anybody on YouTube? I haven't seen any comments from YouTube yet. It shows that I'm live over there. I should try going live on my vlog channel. In fact, I'm behind on my vlogs. We're nearing the end of. Is it April? Are we in April? We're nearing the end of April, and I've only released one vlog post this month. That's embarrassing. I'm going to remove remove these branches that are sticking out right here because they're kind of distracting. I keep forgetting where to look. The camera's up there. I'm seeing all the stuff going on in this other monitor, but the camera's up there. Came out here with a dry throat and I thought I brought a glass of water with me. Apparently I didn't. And I have no running water in my studio. But once I get editing, I don't like to stop. You know what? I'm going to remove that from his ears. That's making him a little too dark there. Yeah, I did see the deck. Did you build that in one day? That's nice. I also saw your German style, your old German style building today. Did you see Joseph was over there? It looks like it did, like you just put it up yesterday, which is pretty impressive. Hey Justin. Okay, what is the mask layer of? Are you talking about what I'm doing right now? This is my hairbrush, and I'm putting it on heavily. So essentially, what it is, it's an action I created. Anytime I usually just use it. I usually use it on people, on hair, but I normally am doing pictures of people. But on this particular session, I was shooting animals. But essentially, what it is it's doing a combination of blending the highlights and the shadows together, as well as using an oil filter, an oil paint filter, to give it kind of a painterly effect. But on this, it's way too much, so I'm going to drop the opacity to about 50%. And it just gives it kind of that, yeah, like a painterly effect. And then the other one right here is an auto dodge and burn layer that I created because I'm lazy. I created an auto dodge and burn, so it detects, essentially it enhances the highlights, it brings the highlights up and darkens the shadows slightly. $11.5 days to build the deck. Thanks. 1.5 days. Okay. I was sure I read that wrong. Why did I choose Sony? Hey Justin, why I got you on? I'm gonna show you my workflow real quick. So, so I hand edit everything. I don't use anybody else's presets or actions or anything like that, but I do create my own actions. Anything that's repetitive, let me pull this up on full screen so you can see a little bit better. Okay, so I've got my actions up here. So I start out in Lightroom. I do some basic editing there, essentially just getting the colors and the exposure corrected, and then bring it into Photoshop and do all the other stuff there. But anyway, I've got frequency separation put together, and I have everything set on hotkeys F1 through F9, and this is my workflow if I need it. Frequency separation, dodge and burn for close is what I have in there. It's basically my auto dodge and burn, and then I have a manual dodge and burn. And then I have my hairbrush, which I just used. Then I have a fall colors action, which I use in my autumn edits. I have a matte / color blend, which is just kind of you'll see that here in a minute. It's just an action that I created. Just kind of my own thing that I like to do. Extra sharpening towards the end, I like to do some extra sharpening, specifically for like when you're going to upload in Facebook and whatnot. and also for my full resolution images. And then my logo, I have a teeth whitening one, which I don't have a preset for because I just don't use it very often. Just don't really need it if the white balance is on par. And then F9 will save it. It'll save it to the destination that I put it to, and it saves it in two different formats. One for social media, and then the full resolution image for prints. And again, I have that from F1 through 9, so I can just go through. But they're all also customizable, so that's why I have like the I have the layer mask and whatnot. I can also open them up and edit, like that. So for my hairbrush, I'm going to go ahead and do my matte color blend sort of deal. So it puts this on it. Let me get back over here. So it just gives it that look, and then I can take my brush, set at 50% opacity, and I like to start up here wherever the direction of the light that's coming from is and drag it down to my subjects there. And I'll just paint it off of them. And it gives it this matte burn look on the edges, so it's kind of a nice vignette as well. So it helps draw your attention to the subjects. Do my sharpening and grab my logo. So it just speeds up the workflow. When I've got, dozens of photos that I've got to work on, I can go through them really quickly, but I don't want to lose that essence of the hand edit. I want to still have full control over my hand edits. So I'm still hand editing things, but I want to have full control over. But it's something that I still don't have these actions available for purchase, although I may do that eventually, just because it's just for me. It's just I keep looking down here like the camera's down there, and then just hit F9 and it'll save. Yeah, I don't have just like a simple preset that I click and it's done, because I don't edit that way. I'll do a preset like here's in Lightroom. I have my preset over here for the particular look. So like, let's say I'll go back to the beginning here. So here's straight out of the camera, and whatever I edited last, it's very similar to the exposure of the next image. So I'll save the preset from that one and just pop it right there. So then I just have to do a few more minor things, usually with my brush, and then go on to Photoshop. So it just saves a lot of time. Right, that's what I was doing. I was doing it all manual before too, and it would take like 10-15 minutes per photo, whereas if I do it this way, I can get through a photo within just a couple of minutes. And I'm going slow right now just because I'm talking and reading comments and stuff. Isaac, which Joe are you talking to? I don't remember seeing a Joe. There's no Joe. There's no Joe here. Unless he's on and he hasn't commented. Are you talking to Justin? Okay, so see, I can still use this preset. I might make a few adjustments on it, but I'll go ahead and use it on here because I really like the look it's giving it here. There is no such thing as a one size fits all. I always cringe when I see the photographers. They're like, "Get my preset." It's like it'll be like me. It was a one button push me. Like right. No, it's never that. Every image is vastly different. Is Joseph on? Did he comment? I didn't see Joseph. If he is, he didn't comment. Nope. You guys must see something that my settings are all messed up, so I don't actually see who's on. Where does my inspiration come from? You, babe. You're my inspiration. I feel like that was a loaded question. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I have a brush that I created. It's a custom brush that I created in Lightroom, and essentially all it does is it brings the exposure down a little bit, brings the shadows up, but it also desaturates. It slightly desaturates the edges because your eye sees light first and color second, so it's a psychological thing. I want to when I do an image, I'm trying to think psychologically how what can I do to this image to help draw the attention to the subject. And so one of those ways is by slightly desaturating the edges, and then also having just a slight vignette, and all that ties into bringing your focus and attention to the subject. Joseph was on a little while ago. I sure didn't see any comments from him. Did it say? Is it like pop up and say who's on? I don't have the. I can't see any of that. I should pull up my phone. Maybe my phone will show. Okay, I like this image. There's really not a lot that needs to be done here. It's clean. There's nothing to be removed. One thing I like to do is look at the preview up here in the upper right corner, because your eye will see things will jump out a little bit more when you're looking at a preview version, or maybe just zoom out like this. One thing that's jumping out to me is this right here, whatever this clump is. There's like a stick or something here, and then whatever this is right here. You know what? There's a better way to show you guys how to do this. Oh, let's see here. I have a program that I bought specifically for this, and I never use it. Let me see if I can figure out how to use this. I don't need a haircut. Look at this. This is epic. Kidding me? I already cut it. See? Like right here. See? It's cut. Screen brush. All right, check this out. I can actually show you what I'm doing here. This is grabbing my attention. This is grabbing my attention. This is grabbing my attention. So all those need to go. Ironically, this tree is not. It's fine. I shouldn't do that. It should be like, yay, tree. It can stay. But these other things, they need to go. So I'm going to see about making them go away. So this is like a stick or something in the water. Isaac, there's nothing in your comment. It's a blank comment. Oh, there it is. It's a funny face. And I use Content Aware, but sometimes Content Aware doesn't work very well. Like it didn't work very well there. So I'm just going to drag it over here. Try to match those splashes. Watch out for repeating patterns. I'm just going to leave that. That looks fine. It's weird. So most times Content Aware works great. Other times it's kind of like, really? Okay, I like that. That's fine. And I don't know why. Whatever this is, this splash of mud or something. It's really grabbing my attention. It's kind of cool when you zoom up to it, but from a distance, it's grabbing my attention. If it doesn't translate well in Content Aware, I may just leave it, because there's really not a whole lot to sample from there. Actually, I think I'll leave it. That's fine. I think that worked out pretty good. Ooh, that didn't. So the funny thing, Isaac, about my haircut is I can see, I can see the sides. I can't see the back. And I cut it several times because I don't have one of those mirrors I can hold back there. So Natasha came. I was like, Natasha, how's my back? How's the back? And she was like, it's fine. Apparently it wasn't. Whoops. So I had to go back and fix it. And then I went too far. Whatever. I don't really care anymore. I definitely. There's a dill. Not there. It's actually on the other side. There's a clump. Whatever. I'm digging it. All right, so I want Molly. I want Molly to really stand out. I want the image to look almost three-dimensional. So I'm going to do some dodging burning here to get her to come out a little more. Even hit that water a little bit. Right there. I'm also going to do some sharpening. Hey, yeah, it's hip. Look at that. I can actually make it do stuff. It's starting to become an afro almost. It's like I don't think my hair has ever been. I've never ever been able to see my own hair. Look at this. I can actually see it. That's how long it's gotten. And it's not because of the quarantine. I'm using the quarantine as an excuse. Nothing's actually changed for me. I'm still working. I have no excuse. You know what? I don't know if I'll be able to use the hairbrush on this one or not because there's too many droplets of water. Yeah, the droplets of water are gonna mess it up. It's fine. The hair is smooth, but the way she's running is already smooth. I'm gonna do the hairbrush on that one. Let's go straight to my mat. Color blend. 50%. Opacity. Whoops, that was a glitch. Another Photoshop glitch. Actually, I don't know if that's a Photoshop glitch or if it's a Wacom tablet glitch. But when I first tap with this brush, it like jumps across the screen. Really? This is the first for me, I think. I'm pretty sure this is the first for me. I don't think I've ever been able to see my hair. I usually just buzz it off. My whole life has always been buzzed. Maybe I'm turning a new leaf. Thought I'd try something different. I might make this logo black. Black logo. Look at that. That's kind of cool. Oh, a fun thing I like to do with logos sometimes when there's water involved is I haven't done this in a while. Let's see here. Let's see. Flip horizontal. No. Flip vertical. Drag it down underneath it. Gonna go ahead and you go to liquify. This is a lot of extra work for my for a logo, but it's always fun. It's kind of a trademark thing for me. Anytime I see I do something that's got water, gonna put some ripples in it here. Gonna put some ripples from the water. Do some smaller ones here. There we go. It's all wiggly now. Hit OK. Look at that. Drop the opacity. Reflective logo. Look at that. Whoops. Whoops. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, it's the wrong one. Oh, right. Got those two confused. There we go. Now it looks three-dimensional. It actually looks like it's hovering above the water now. I might also... ooh, let's see. How do I do this? How do I... Free transform. I forgot how to... No. Oh, yeah. You either smash it down a little bit or stretch it out. I like we smash it down a little bit. There we go. Actually, I liked it the way it was before. Okay, I need to be done with this image. I need to combine those two together now because I need to make it one. Otherwise, it won't disappear on my... What do I blur out the background? Why do I blur out the background? What are you talking about? I don't blur out the background. The lens does that. You're playing the devil's advocate over there. Trying to stir things up in the comment section. It's funny, I do that a lot with my logos when there's water involved. I don't think anybody has ever noticed. It's just for me. I just do it for me. With images like this, always try to be aware of which direction the light is coming from. In this case, it's upper left. So when I do my vignettes like this, I pull down from that area down to my subject. You know the answer to that question. I can't say that live because then people will want me to do it. That's cool. Come on, Mac. Come on, Mac. Waiting for you. There it goes. Maybe it was waiting for me. There is nothing to remove in this photo. It's ready. Let's see how fast I can edit this one. I'm not sacrificing time for quality. It's just there's not much that needs to be done on this particular one. Ah, there's that glitch again. Do I take black and white photos? No, but I can make black and white photos. Watch. Boom. Black and white. There you go. I lost my train of thought. You're distracting me. Oh, it just did that. Good grief. Right? Oh. Go back. Go back. Go back. Ah. Boom. Brought it back. Should have just painted it back on. That was a lot of work. Sharpen. My logo. I'm not gonna do the reflection again. Nobody cares. Actually, I might put it over here this time. Is it using Photoshop considering cheating? It depends. It depends on what you're doing. If you pull up somebody else's image on Photoshop and make one tiny adjustment and then call it yours, then yes, it's cheating big time. If you are doing what I'm doing here and it's part of your workflow and it's an artistic expression of your work, then no, it's not cheating at all. And it's, what do you mean cheating? Like, it's not even, I don't even consider this photography. It's art. Hey, Casey. Sorry, Cassie. What are you laughing at? You've been sitting in this whole conversation, not saying anything. All right, we are up to the pony. Look at that. Okay, this is why I'd say this all the time. It's so important to shoot in RAW. So I explained before why most of the images in this session are blown out and overexposed. I had an issue where so one of my fights with Sony is this the exposure compensation knob up here is really easy to bump. And this whole session was super bright to begin with. I started early intentionally because I knew I'd be shooting animals and I wanted to have the extra time in case things didn't go according to plan, which is almost always the case. So it was already bright to begin with, but at the same time, my exposure compensation knob was twisted over to like +1. So everything's all blown out. But thankfully, I shot in RAW, and look at all the detail that you can pull out of a RAW image, just like that. Just crazy amount of detail you can pull out. Yes, Natasha is hilarious. She keeps things interesting. In fact, if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have a show right now. All right, cool. Just gonna add a little vignette here. And this is gonna be a nice, clear image. Look at this. Come on, clear it. There we go. I shot this at f5. Oh shoot, my portrait's at f5. It was f4, but I wanted a little more a little more clarity. So I start shooting at f5 with my portraits, depending on how close you are. And what lens you're using, obviously. Which this was my 50 millimeter. Yeah, this pony was in a tiny field. It wasn't tiny. The area we were shooting at was tiny. I found some shade. If you can see right here, it's really bright over here, but there's a tree. There's some cedar trees to the left over here, and so I wanted to shoot in there, but it was not a big enough area to use my 135. He's got some dandruff here, which I can't really do much about. But I might do something about these two random eyelashes that just kind of... Actually, I don't even think they're eyelashes. They're just hairs. Oh, come on. All right, I'm gonna use my clone stamp tool. Try to clean this up a little bit. I know it's an eyeball and it's super close. Nobody's ever gonna see this, but this is just kind of how my brain works. I know it's that, and so I want to fix it. There's a line here. It's not blended together very well, so I'm gonna fix that. Oh, good. Good. Pick up another session. Look at that. Picking up more sessions. It's interesting. So it's been so slow. Let's say slow. It's been dead because of COVID. No sessions whatsoever. And then all of a sudden here within just the last 3 days, I've had like 3 sessions just back to back. And then just more work. And people have been ordering extra photos. And it's been awesome. So finally it's starting to come back a little bit. Still have the lights on in my studio. Although the electricity flickered several times today. Oh, that's a thing. So I've got all this equipment, backup drives and everything, but if electricity flickers, shuts everything off, it really does you no good. So I have a backup battery that I have all my stuff plugged into. It only lasts maybe 10 minutes, but really I use it for, it's for power surges, because we get power surges here a lot. So this is kind of a tip for those of you in the rural area like us that have random power outages for absolutely no reason whatsoever. My work is so easy. I just sit and push buttons. But listen, it took me 5 years to figure out which buttons to push to make everything work as well as what it does. So you got to keep that in mind. I am going to add a sky to this photo. What sky do I want to use? I don't know. Let's go back. It's okay. It's still pretty bright out, so I'm going to use something like this. The sun is not in the image, so I'm probably going to use something like this. Let's use this one. Or, let's use one of these. Yeah, let's use this one. I'm going to just drop this in here. This is from my Sky Packs. It's available on philiphomiceracademy.com. I think there's like 86 skies in there. It took me like 2 years. It's just every time I'd go to work, I'd get there a little bit early and I'd climb up on top of the silo and I'd take a picture of the sky. And I did that for like a year, just to do it. It's kind of fun. And then I put all those together in this Sky Pack. And I'm just gonna, this is gonna look really goofy at first. So I'm gonna use blend if to try to, yeah, there we go. Yeah, that worked out pretty good. Now it looks really goofy right now because okay, let me explain something before I do this. I see photographers do this all the time when they replace the sky and they're shooting at they're shooting at apertures that are wide open and the background and the foreground are blurred out, and then the sky is perfectly clear. I see it all the time. Don't forget, if you're swapping out skies, don't forget to blur them out. And I like using, I would like to use the lens blur. Let me try this again. The problem is lens blur on Photoshop is extremely slow. In fact, I even turned preview off, although I thought I did. Oh, you know what? Make sure you have the sky selected. You could use Gaussian blur, but it doesn't look as good. Lens blur is the best in my opinion. So I'm gonna crank the radius up. Let's crank it up. Let's crank it up. It's going a lot faster than usual. Usually it just completely crashes. I'm almost scared to death to open it up. Casey, that never changes. Feeling like an idiot. I find myself fumbling around. Or I'll forget something and I'll be like, I just did that yesterday. Like, how did I do that? I don't remember. Okay, now I want to blend this a little bit, so I'm going to drop the opacity, but I'm also going to add a layer mask on there and just kind of brush across. There we go. Just to blend that in a little bit. Hello. What time? Welcome. Thank you for joining. I still can't see. It still doesn't tell me how many people are on. In fact, I'm going to close this out. Hopefully I won't lose you guys. I'm not going to lose you guys. It should stay on. But I'm going to restart my my chat here, so bear with me for a minute. So maybe I can actually see who's on or not. I might lose all your comments, though. You must have a nice camera. You're hilarious. I think we're going to... I think it's blurred out well enough. You guys can keep commenting, I think. I'm just going to reset my my comment deal over here. I have a program where I'm actually live streaming on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. And this program just combines everybody's comments together. Oh boy, I might have lost everyone's comments. If you guys said anything, hey, here we go. I lost your comments, but I can see how many people are on now. So that's a plus. So if you guys said anything in the last like minute or two, you're gonna have to retype it because I lost all of your comments. Okay, I'm gonna do a little little dodge and burn here now that I got my sky replaced. There's 8 of you on. That's cool. It's funny, I I have a combined following on my Facebook and YouTube of about 20,000 people, and then I go live. It's like it's never more than 10 10 people, not 10,000, 10 people. What do I like better, Photoshop or Lightroom? I can't say that. I can't say what I like better because I use both of them not interchangeably, but they both have completely different purposes. I would say if I had to live without one, I would live without Lightroom because you essentially have Lightroom in Photoshop. It's called Adobe Camera Raw. It's exactly Lightroom pretty much. You have all the same tools in here. So who needs Lightroom? I just like it. You don't have the filing system in Lightroom. I'll say that. It's not exactly the same, but it's essentially the same. So this my auto dodge and burn action here, it just helps my subject it helps them to stand out more. It just kind of pops them off, gives them that kind of three-dimensional look there. I was talking about my following, it just dropped all of a sudden from 8 to 3. Everybody's dropping off now. That's a little too much. I'm gonna back that off a little because I'm also gonna sharpen it here in a minute. Ooh, I'm gonna use my hairbrush on the pony. See how this looks. This might be goofy. Let's see what happens. It's kind of cool. Whoops. Can't put that on the sky. I didn't think it would do that because it's a separate layer, but it did. Is it not painting? There it goes. Just lagging a little bit. I'm gonna obviously back the opacity way off. I just want to paint it all on right now, and then I'll back it off when I'm done here. Oh, and before I forget, I'm having a Corona. I don't have Corona. I'm having a Corona promotion right now on my classes and my courses. If you go to philiphomiseracademy.com, You can get any of my classes, courses, anything for 50% off when you use the promo code Corona Break, and that will run for the life of Corona or until we're all dead. So I'm just gonna keep that up. 50% off. All my Watch Me edits, I believe, are $20. So you can get any of those classes for $10. Corona Break, because we all need a break from Corona. It's actually, Corona's not the problem. Okay, I'm just gonna stop there before I get too far. I can't talk about Corona. Facebook will probably kick me off or something. Oh, actually, yeah, no, YouTube will. YouTube will kick you off. They won't kick you off. They'll censor it. They'll, like, if you are doing AdSense or anything like that, they'll turn it off, because they don't want you to use Corona to draw attention to your videos and essentially make money off of it. Tell you, Corona's not the problem. We're the problem. Our reaction to Corona was the problem. I'm not saying Corona's not real or that it's dangerous. I'm saying we blew it up. We blew it up. I don't think it was worth turning the world off. Because if you compare it to pretty much any other disease, modern day disease, flu, and of course everybody says don't compare it to the flu, it's not the same, but it's a virus, and the flu is a virus, and there's other viruses. If you compare these viruses, they're all very similar in how our bodies react to it, and our bodies need to adapt to a virus in order to fight it off. So if we all manage to avoid Corona now, what's going to stop us from getting it next year? Because it's all in our systems now, some of us. And then they're going to push the vaccine when it comes out, which good luck with that. I can see it all coming together. It's all being used. And you can't really blame anybody, because put yourself in any of the political, not any of them, put yourself in any of the shoes of our political leaders, I guess I should say. They whether they believe in it or think that shutting the world down was a good idea or not, they had to go with it, because think about how horrible they would look if they didn't. I can't imagine. Herd immunity, well, it works. I don't wish death on anybody or illness, but our bodies are amazing, and one of the worst things you can do for a kid is put them in a bubble and never let them go outside. I should look over here. I keep looking over here. You don't want to put your kid in a bubble and never let them experience dirt, because you've got to build up your immune system. Because if you don't build up your immune system, you become susceptible to these things. So in the future, like, if it doesn't kill you now, it might kill you later when it adapts to all the vaccines and all the other stuff that you put into your system. And then there's, then you have issues. Did I save that? Yes, I did. So let's go back to photography here for a minute. Here's our before and here's our after. Our Photoshop before and after. Edit on the pony. On what was his name? Garrett? No, George. His name is George, I think. No, Natasha, I don't believe in vaccines. I don't think vaccines should be mandatory. I'm not against people taking vaccines. If you want to get a vaccine, that's completely up to you, but it should never be mandatory. And if you're afraid that I'm going to spread something because I didn't get a vaccine, then get a vaccine, and I won't be able to spread it to you or your loved ones, whatever. It's just common sense. Now that this whole thing is dissolved into vaccines and coronavirus, I should probably quit, because I just realized it's 10 o'clock and I've been on for an hour. Not quite an hour yet. It'll be an hour in 3, 2, 1. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an hour. I'm going to wrap this up. I only got, how many images did I get done? 1, 2, 3, 4. So even though it was my faster process, I still only got 4 images done. I've got quite a few to get through here. My client is probably watching this and like, what are you doing? I want my photos. I'll get through most of them tomorrow morning. Yeah, so we'll go through here. I love these. Okay, Natasha, you asked the question earlier. You asked me what my favorite lens was, and I never answered it. My absolute favorite lens would probably have to be the 200 millimeter 2.0, and I have one, but it's an old vintage version. Hold on. Yes, it needs to be in a case because if you get this thing brand new, it's $6,000, something like that. So this is my 200 millimeter 2.0. Could catch some light with that thing. There we go. Can you guys hear me? Okay, I keep forgetting. I walk away from the microphone. You guys can't hear me. This is my favorite lens. Now this one I don't use very often because because it's got a little bit of haze in it because it's 40 years old. But man, you cannot beat the bokeh in this thing. Bokeh. It's pronounced bokeh. Actually, it's not bokeh. The Americans call it bokeh. It's actually bokeh. Julian, you are on. I figured you'd be on. Or maybe you just got on. I don't know. Anyway, this is my favorite lens. I've never seen bokeh as creamy as I've seen it with the 200 and the 200 2.0. My next favorite lens would be my 135 millimeter 1.8, and that is my most used lens. It's not necessarily my favorite, but they're pretty close in comparison. If it's like they're like pretty much right there. It's the autofocus on the 135 is extremely fast, and it's also insanely clear, as you can see here. Just zoom up here. This is a little overexposed. We'll drop let's drop the exposure here a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. Here we go. Actually, yeah. So here we've got two awesome subjects here, pretty far away. Now when you zoom in, there's a little bit of motion blur there, and that's probably my fault. Yeah, I was shooting at 250th of a second. I don't know why there's motion blur there. I was probably really moving around. But from back, I mean, that was zoomed way in. Let's find a close-up portrait. Here we go. Check this out. Okay, look at the clarity here. Now, if I was to do this with my 200 2.0, it's now this was shot at 4,000 ISO. I don't know why. So there's a little bit of noise in there. I can clear that up with some noise reduction. Let's put some noise reduction in there. A little bit of noise reduction, a little bit of sharpening. Bam. That is a clear eyeball. But yeah, so that's what I like about this lens. It's super clear, but it's also brand new. So, well, it's about 2 years old now. But I mean, compared to my 200, it's 40 years old. It's going to have a little bit of haze in it. But you can't. The 135 is close in similarity to the. Oh, you know what? This was actually my 50. This isn't even my 135. This is my 50. In fact, this was with my 135 right here. Yeah. But anyway, there you go. I hope that answers your question. Oh, you want me to stay on? You want me to stay on just so you can have fun with me? Is that what you're saying? Ask stupid questions. No, ask more questions. I'm still here. I can keep editing. Although I should probably go to bed because I'm gonna be up at 3 again tomorrow. Got all my lenses out here now. Got lenses everywhere. Check this little thing out. I use this for architecture and landscapes. It's my 15 millimeter 2.0. That's how I know. It's handy dandy. The thing I notice about super wide angle lenses like that is it amplifies dust particles. If there's any dust on the sensor or the lens whatsoever, it just amplifies it. And I spend all my time removing dust particles from the image. Okay, I think I'm going to edit one more image. I'm going to edit one image. And then I'm going to hit the sack and start again in the morning. I went live this morning. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing that though. Cuz I don't tend to get that many photos done when I go live. You know what? Oh, what just happened here? Go back. I think I'm going to leave that shot. I like the little bit of sun that I've got up there, but it's also too much negative space up there. I hate making decisions like this because it's like compositionally, like it needs to come down a little bit. But you know what? Rules are meant to be broken. They're made to be broken. I would just like a little bit of a tighter crop on this. I might crop it just a little bit and keep the sun in there just a little bit. The most annoying question that people ask me, most annoying, I don't know about annoying, but baffling question is, how far away from my subject was I? Which you already asked that tonight. How far away from the subject? Exactly, or approximately, how far were you from the subject? That's definitely my most asked question. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. Why does it matter? What? It depends. It totally depends. I don't know. I've never measured it. I have no idea why people ask that, but it's definitely probably my most asked question. It's the weirdest thing. How far away from the subject were you? I don't know. I've just started giving completely random, like, I don't know, 64 feet, 13 feet. I was 37 feet and 8 inches exactly from my subject. Make sure you write that down, put it in your notebook. And the next time you're out shooting, pull out tape measure, make sure you're that exact distance, and you'll be able to capture the type of images that I capture if you get the distance just right. I've never thought about the distance ever. And it all changes if you put a different lens on. So I don't understand it. Tell the kids about the rules that are meant to be broken. They're all made to be broken. All of them. All the rules are made to be broken. Otherwise, it would be art. Like, hold on. Photoshop's thinking. Like, if you wanted to just do some crazy crop like that, you can do that. Do it. Maybe you're saying something there. Anytime I see an image like this, I feel like the photographer tripped and was falling over and accidentally. They're like, hey, okay, that's kind of cool. I'm going to keep that one. You'll never see any of my images like that. Actually, I do that sometimes. The only time I would do an image twisted over like that is if there was motion, like a lot of motion going on in the image. Like if somebody was running, something like that. Even then, I don't like doing it. But that's really the only time I would do that. But if that's what you're into, by all means, do it. There's no rule saying you can't, except for the rule of thirds. But you can use the rule of thirds like that. No, I don't need a tape measure. I don't know, maybe. Give me one of those infrared ones where I'll just stick it to the end of the camera. I'll just tape it to my camera, and then I can just and it would tell me exactly how far. Actually, you know what? The EXIF data might actually give you that information. It might give you that exact information. Let's check real quick. No, I'm curious. It might actually say how far your focus point was. Let's see. I don't. This information gets rather deep sometimes. I don't see it here. The GPS tells you where you're at. Focal length was 50, but what about the focus point? Come on. Does it not tell you? Because it would be funny if the next time somebody asks, I could actually just go in there and copy exactly down to the millimeter how far my subject was. Doesn't look like it. Oh well. Okay, so I just removed a few branches. You know that. I just answered that question. What lens would I get if I could get any kind of lens right now, what would it be and why? Well, I just told you all that. It'd be the 200. Okay, yeah, maybe I should explain that. I have the 200 2.0. I would get a new one. I would get an autofocus version because then I would eliminate that haze. Although the autofocus wouldn't be as fast as my 135, likely because I'd have to get a Metabones adapter or some kind of adapter to, because only Nikon and Canon, as far as I know, makes them. Sony doesn't make a 200 2.0, which why I don't know. I have no idea why Sony doesn't make a 200 2.0. Probably because the demand is not very high. They're $6,000, $7,000 maybe, $6,000. I think they're $6,000. They've dropped the price a little bit. It's like 5,800 now. Maybe I think you can get one. So not a whole lot of people jumping up to buy the 200s, probably, unless you're making the big bucks on the photography. Probably not going to be just running out and buying a 200 2.0. Natasha, I didn't tell you. Canon announced. Well, they announced the camera a while back. Maybe you were here when I was talking to Isaac about it earlier. But Canon has released the specs to their new, was it Canon R5 or something like that? Shoots in 8K. It just put the Panasonic in what is it, SH1? It just kind of threw that under the bus. but we don't have a price yet. That's where it's going to be like, oh, okay. The Panasonic S1H, that was kind of like the camera. I wouldn't get that camera for photography though. I'd get it for videography. But the this Canon is a Canon R5. Whew. Like we're pretty much there. I don't know if you can get much more there than that. The camera's got everything in it. I'm waiting for the Cripple Hammer to come out though. But it's not cropped. The 8K is not cropped. It shoots in like 10-bit. Shoots in RAW. You can shoot in RAW. And these are video specs is what I'm getting at. Because I'm starting to really get into video. I don't really know much about the photography side of things with it. Can shoot 4K at 120 frames per second. Who is ever going to need 8K though? That's what I want to know. My computer would just crash. I wouldn't even be able to edit it probably. Just to say I can shoot in 8K. Of course, the new Samsung phone can shoot in 8K too, but of course that's the transfer rate and dynamic range and all that's going to play a role in that. It's going to suffer greatly. But it's still pretty crazy that you can shoot 8K on your phone. What world are we living in now? You know what's fun about going live is I can actually talk about photography. I don't get to actually talk about photography very much, or videography. I don't get to talk about these things very much. I mean, I talk to Natasha about it all the time, but she kind of like, come on, can we talk about something else? I'm sure, at least. But you're the one asking all the questions, really. Okay, you know what? I think we're going to remove that post in the background. That's the only indication that there's a fence right there. I think I'll just go ahead and remove it. And that way your brain isn't saying there's a fence there. All right. There we go. All right. Yeah, I need to come out with another vlog post. I've been trying to do at least 2 a month. I've only done 1 this month. And the month's almost over already. Falling behind on my vlogs. When I first started, I started strong. I was putting out like a vlog every other day or something. It was crazy. And then life started up again. Or maybe life stopped. I don't know. Whole COVID hit. Going good until COVID hit. Which is weird. You'd think it'd be the other way around. I like doing the vlogs. The vlogs are fun. All right. No, I'm not gonna edit another one. I'm getting tired. I could go all night, but the problem is I gotta work tomorrow. Whoops. Did not mean to do that. Woo. That's cool in black and white. What did I push? Whoops. Apparently, okay, I didn't know that. Apparently V, I didn't mean to hit V, but apparently V adds crown comb. Crown comb. It's black and white. This is a fun image. I like this. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. It's been fun. It's been a while. It's over an hour almost an hour and 16 minutes and 47 seconds. That's exactly how long it's been. So I'm gonna go get to bed because I'm gonna be back at it in about 4.5 hours. Is that right? 3 o'clock. Yeah. Yeah. Wow, I need to get to bed. Okay. You guys have any last minute questions, better throw them out there. Otherwise, I'm wrapping it up. I'm gonna put all this stuff up now I pulled out. The studio's getting wrecked here. Look at this. It's actually not too bad. Clean things up a little bit. I've got all this paperwork and stuff here. Cameras everywhere. Casey, you are more than welcome. I enjoy doing these. These are a lot of fun. And I'm going to try to keep doing them from time to time. So, anyways, I'm going to put this stuff up. I'm going to wrap it up. And I will see you guys next time. Good night. I will see you later. If I can get this thing to turn off.